Good afternoon or good morning. This is Bill Roney. Um, we're going to be talking today about RTI and MISS. Today's video is sponsored by street food. Yummy. Gotta love the street food. Now, we're supposed to describe and talk about RTI and ISS. First of all, I wrote some basic stuff down. RTI is the response to intervention, and it's a three-tier system to identify areas where a student might need assistance and help. 80% of the students that are in tier one will pass and don't need to go on further. That leaves 20%, roughly. Will have to go to tier two, and then about 5% of those will have to go to tier three. Now, tier two utilizes tier one and tier two, small groups. Tier three get more individualized training and special needs help. Now, depending on the websites, because the book's 70 pages long, reading chapters one and two, I could have taken that information and knocked it down to a 5-page report because it circle talked itself. At least in my opinion. Um, they're either RTI and MIS is either classified as totally separate, or RTI is a part of the process of MTSS, multi-tiered instructions. Now, MTSS is can be broken down to several tiers or levels. RTI is 3 levels. MTSS, multi-tiered instructions, minimum is 3, but they can go 4, 5, so on and so far, a lot higher up, more levels, and subdivide into different areas. Now, as I was looking through and the most updated studies, because the book's utilizing um, studies focused around the court hearings and the bills signed back in 2004, their biggest distractors is there's no real acute studies on how well either one of them actually works or it works together. I'll share some of the sites, like for instance, ID America and the Sign Language for America, where they're talking. I'm looking at the site here, where they were talking about what was going on and their how much research, how much space. For instance, with the LDAs, learning disabilities, how to bring the support, but it recognizes the difficulties implementing RTI as a system-wide initiative, since it lacks a lot of scientific research-based interventions for all ages and all areas. That's why I went in my search engines and I put down RTI, TSOL, RTI, special needs, learning disabilities, and like I said, below the video, I will post the links, some of the links. I'll try to keep it to top 5, but diverse, because I have like a whole slew I'm looking at. Uh, it's like some of the other studies I have, you know, most of my classmates are undergraduates. I'm in the graduate program. So I've been able to access a lot more of the different theories, or I've seen more of the different theories, depending on what level are you in your undergraduate studies. And there are several theories and stuff that some of our professors gravitate to, and some of them lack some areas. For instance, like I said, IDAAmerica.org, some of the problems that they have with the RTI is lack of scientific research, the need on professional development, inconsistent implementations of the research-based interventions, need more research on how it affects middle school and high school students, just that's just the top tier. They have more. And this isn't a new article. This article was put together last year. And then, well, actually, the original was 2021, February. I know it's 2023 now, but a lot of the other articles I was looking at, they're very spaced out, and some of them are opinion pieces, and they're all mostly around between 2004 to 2012, kind of like our textbook. So, in conclusion on it, like I said, the concept for me is really interesting. And the website I'm talking about adding, it also has breakdowns on the different areas, and that's what really grabbed my attention on the different techniques you can utilize on how to test students to make sure they're understanding what they're being taught. And I'll definitely add that site there because the one area that really grabbed me was the games. Some of my stuff I use to teach is TPR, total physical response. I use a lot of physical activity when I'm dealing with special needs or when I'm dealing with teaching English as a second language for reinforcement. I start with, I call it the three-tier system. Start with the old school rote, I say, you repeat for my teaching English as a second language, or I'm teaching the math or science something, I say, I want you to see if you can repeat it back to me. Once I'll ask you the question about it. I was like, all right, so who was the president we're talking about? And like you say, we're talking about Lincoln. Oh, you're talking about Abraham Lincoln. Oh, okay, yeah, Abraham Lincoln. That's the man with the big weird hat. Yeah, okay. And like I said, you when I ask questions, I also make a physical movement. I do have to limit it when there's kids that hand motion is can make them upset. So that's one of the things you have to know your students. If a lot of hand motion makes them upset, too loud, too soft voices, any direct questions or indirect questions, how it affects them. So that will also have aspects that affect your testing. And like I said, the response to intervention, it's some type of testing to see how much they know and if they need to be put into level two or level three, or can they stay with the 80% in the level one? All right. Well, I'm hoping to see what videos you all put out and see if possibly somebody saw something I missed and they can learn from it, or have a site that they found interesting that I might be able to find interesting. And I hope the sites I share with you stoke some of the interest and maybe expansion, and maybe you'll find some other sites that you could share with the class on a later date. All right. Well, thank you very much. Like I said, my name is Bill Roney, and we're talking about RTI with MTSS, response to intervention and multi-tiered instructions.